Bear Grylls. Chapter 7. On one occasion, probably aged about 11, I remember being dared by a local friend of mine from the Isle of Wight to attempt with him a crossing of a harbour at low tide. I knew the reputation of the harbour, and I felt in my bones that it was a bad idea to attempt to beat the mud and sledge. I was up to my chest in black stinking clay, slime and mud. We had used up so much energy in the short distance we have travelled that we were soon utterly beat, utterly bad, and in utterly big trouble. Each time we tried to move, we got dragged down further. By the grace of God, two things then happened. First of all, I found out by experiment that if I tried to swim on the surface of this mud and not to fight it when I could make very slow progress, well, at least progress of sorts. So slowly we both turned round and literally crawled our way back towards the shore inch by inch. It was a good lesson. Know your limits. Don't embark on any adventures without a solid backup plan, and don't be egged on by others when your instincts tell you something is a bad idea. We were on a family holiday in Cyprus to visit my aunt and uncle. My uncle Andrew was then the military British forces commander on the island. After a few days holed up in the garrison, my uncle instantly suggested that maybe we should enjoy a trip up the mountains. In other words, they are ripe for an adventure. I myself have said, why are we doing this? But my uncle thought it was a great idea, so we did it. We went up the mountains, across the streams, up the hills, through a lot of water, and I mean a lot of water. And it was fun. We learned about how the trees are formed, and we learned how why it's bad to go in the winter time, but it's still very fun. Quite boring. We both looked at each other and suggested a quick off pistivore. I was all game, aged 11. We weren't very far into this between the trees. We then went up and around the lake, wondering, should we just go for a swim? Why not? Alright, let's try, said Grandpa and Uncle Fred, because Grandpa just came along at the end, so why don't we just go this time? Grandpa thought, no, we should not go, because if we did, we would be crawled, and we would have to swim quite far, which is bad for my back, says Grandpa Pat. We pushed on. We were soon amongst deep forest, and then even deeper snow. We then reached a fork in the valley. Should we go left or right? Dad called in left. Within 200 yards, we stumbled across a snowy track through the woods and followed it excitedly. Within a mile, it came out on a mountain road. Within 10 minutes, we had flagged down a lift from a car heading up the hill. It was a massive snowstorm, the people said in the car. It was the worst snowstorm in 20 years, they said. Dad knew that I had made the right call up there. If we had chosen left, we would be trudging into the unknown. I felt so proud. Lesson learned, kids. Always trust your instincts. Never listen to anyone else. Always trust your instincts. As we trampled back through the barracks, though, we noticed there was an unusual amount of activity for the early hours of the weekend morning, and we were unhearsed in the senior officers' block. Entire Army Mountain Rescue Team is currently out scouring the mountains for you on foot and in the air. With the search and rescue helicopter, I hope you have a good explanation. We didn't of course, but the phrase "I won't smile if I was you" has gone down in the Bear Grylls family folklore. See you tomorrow.